just going to blow by this guy down the sideline. I'm going to catch all these bombs. I'm going to look great. So part of it's on his skill set, right? One part of it's on his attitude, which we've talked about before multi-times. We've talked about bad body language on the field, on the sideline. We've talked about that. I think the other part that comes into play that no one's talking about, and this kind of also goes back to what Christian was saying, is if you wanted to know what he could do, why didn't you play him every single preseason game and throw the rock at him 7 or 8 times a game? That's the way you find out what a guy could do. So, we can make up anything we want. At the end of the day, none of us, including the coaching staff, doesn't know what he can do under pressure and under fire in a game because he's not on the field long enough to see what he can do. We're never going to see him actually grind because he never gets an opportunity. They dropped the ball in preseason with putting him on the field and just throwing the rock at him. If he had 7 targets and 4 catches, 8 targets and 5 catches, we'd feel a lot better today, but we don't because we really don't know what he can do beside running a 9 route. I mean, honestly, ask yourself, well, is he good at maybe that skinny post? Is he good at, can he run maybe a wide receiver screen like Plaxico could? Can he own that hash to the middle of the field? We don't know because he never had a chance to do it. So as much as I want to blame it on his skill set, which we do, and we blame it on his attitude, which we do, I'm still going to put 1/3 of this disaster on the coaching staff for not just saying, you know what, dude, this is your last go. So let's throw the rock at you. Show me what you have. And they did not do that.
Can I ask y'all something? And I want to ask the chat this too. God forbid, because Darius Slayton has not been injured much during his Giants tenure. If Darius Slayton goes down, do you have confidence that Hyatt could come in and play the Slayton role? Because I don't. I really don't. And I think a lot of people don't take into consideration how valuable Darius Slayton is, even more valuable with Jalen Hyatt not living up to that 3rd round selection. Who, let's remember this, that if John Michael Schmitz was taken, they were willing to trade up into the 2nd round to get, which I think would be an even bigger blunder had he done that, and we're still having this conversation.
Yeah, and that also leads into what Cole just said. I just popped it up there. You also have to hope that, Mr. Smurf can stay healthy because you can't afford, him to go down because he gets nicked up, and then Slayton would go down, he'd be in bad shape. So, but I mean, hey, look, wrapping it up, that's some pretty good studs and duds, to start off the season. We'll have this every single week. We'll always start off with studs and duds. We are, for you new folks that are tapping in, super appreciate you pounding it out for you guys. We're going to try to bring Christian in here every single Monday if he's around. And we do appreciate you guys tapping in and checking us out. Rush is a couple places. We're live every single Monday. And I mean every single Monday at 7:30. We are here. You find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. The Instagram account is a little bit new. There's a little bit of content up there for about a year. I definitely have to pay a little bit more attention to it. But we appreciate you guys. And of course, there's nygiantsrush.com. If you're new, which is a bunch of you here that are new because you're fans of Chris, just to give you an idea, if you look at the beginning of our show, it says, we tell you what the players tell us. We are known for our interviews. If you go to check out the YouTube channel and subscribe, you'll see over 60 Giants interviews with current and former players and beat reporters. 2 weeks, we'll have Paul Dottino on, but we have, and Sean, give me like 5 or 6 interviews we've done.
We've had Micah McFadden, we've had Carl Banks, we've had Isaiah Hodgins, we've had Leonard Marshall. You talking players? You talking media?
Oh, yeah. Kurt Warner.
Warner, Jordan Renan, Ryan Dunleavy. We've had Dave Saverston. We had
Dane Belton, Daniel Bellinger. We interview a lot of guys, so if you're looking for some cool interviews, head over to the YouTube channel. You can see them there. Because that's what we're known for. And of course, the beat writers, Dunleavy, Dottino, Jordan, Renan, Marash from WFAN. So thanks for hanging out with us. Bang, bang. Let's keep moving. Gentlemen, this is something that we've wanted to do, or we should have done maybe even earlier in the year, but before the season starts, we got to talk Russ.
Okay.
We just got to dedicate some time to Russ, right? I mean, there's no way around it. We got to talk about Russ. So, yeah, exactly. Because I'm going to get my little speech out first. One, and I pulled this up just so I made sure, we tend to want to look for the negative, but it's a new year, people. Okay. Denver, the guy still threw for 3,000 yards and 26 touchdowns. Last year, an abbreviated year, 2,500 yards and 16 touchdowns. Like, he's a perfect guy for what we want here. I really do believe that for a couple reasons. And then I'll turn it to you guys. One, he knows how to win. He's been there. He's done it multi times. The guy in general wanted to be here last year, and we let him walk, right? He's brought a new attitude to the team. The younger guys all seem to really like him and get along. But here's the thing that we have to consider, guys, and tell me what your thoughts are, and Sean, you know this better than anybody because we talked about this early on, is one, he's great for Dart. Everything that you want Dart to be. Oh, I just lost Sean. I don't know where he went. There he is. We want him to train Dart. Everything that's what you want. Dart's always been a gunslinger. He's got a lot of mojo, right? He's got moxie.
Right.
He's going to do all those things, but all those little nuances, they have somewhat of a similar style. Definitely Dart's more of a gunslinger. He's got, you know what I mean, than Russ is. He's more of a runner than Russ is, but he's a really good guy to learn from. And I don't want anybody to get crazy, about when Dart starts, if Dart starts. Like, I think we should be a little content with having Russ just keeping the ship going because this team is going to get better as it goes. Schedule's hard in the beginning. It's going to, so you're going to be, because what's going to happen, and Sean, jump in here. We got a really hard schedule to start the year off. If we go 1-4, everybody's going to be blowing up Russ like it's Russ's fault. And I just don't think anyone should be doing that. It's going to take some time to get this going. And I was writing this down. Like,
well, you got to start with wins. Here's the thing: if you just win, week 1's a winnable game. Week 2's a winnable game now, especially with Micah gone. And the thing about Russ that we've talked about Russ a few times this offseason so far. But here's the thing that is also important is, and you've seen it in the preseason, is Russ is bringing an energy to this team. And what I mean by that is, these receivers, this team believes in him. I have not seen that in the past where this team has believed in who the quarterback was. They may say all the right things. They may, put out the clips or whatever needs to be done to make the right thing said. But you can legit see this team believes in Russell Wilson, and that belief can go a long way. If you know a quarterback can help you win, that's the motivation is going to be there, and that should translate to wins. And I know a lot of fans may be like, oh no, that matters. When you believe in your quarterback, that makes a huge difference. And I have seen that. These guys believe in Russ. So I don't see us going 1-4. I don't see that happening regardless of the schedule. So we need to focus. And listen, Russ has lost weight this offseason. He's looking fast again. And I don't know where this narrative came out there that he's a statue in the pocket, because that man can manipulate the pocket. He can move around. He can create space. He can do things. And he still has some speed to him. He's not Russ from Seattle, but he's not like, Tom Brady in the pocket where he can't move at all, right? Like, this guy can move, and you've seen he's been quicker this year, and he's lighter, and he's energized as well. So I'm not, like I said, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong, but Russ has been the best thing for this team and what this team needed, combined with Dart and Winston. Those three guys, perfect combination for what this team needed.
Shout out to Tudo for joining the room. Tudo, another OG. Thanks for this. Pop it back up there. Appreciate you, my friend. Always coming with a sponsor and a super sticker. Appreciate that. Christian, as we talk about Russ, here's something I want you to address for me, right? I don't know. You might be able to find a little that Seattle magic roaming around. You never know, right? But before the show started, I was thinking about, and I was trying to be realistic, I don't think Russ has ever had a wide receiver as good as Neighbors. So I think don't get me wrong, he's had some good wide receivers, but I don't know if he's ever had one as good or talented as Neighbors. and diverse as neighbors. So this could be something he's licking his chops, to get his hands on too. So what's your thought of like, hey, what happened in Seattle, in Denver's done. What happened in Pittsburgh is done. It seems like he's happy to be here. The team is really gravitating toward him. And then, of course, now we've got this gift-wrapped, wide receiver that arguably could be a top 3, top 5 in the league. What is that going to do for Russ's confidence when a season starts?
I think it's going to do a lot for Russ's confidence. And I fully agree with what Joker was saying. And this is something that I have been having a lot of conversations with. So I am a co-host on another podcast called the Whistleblown Podcast. That is with my friend Doug. Doug is a content creator, but he's not just any content creator. He is a diehard Seattle Seahawks content creator.
All right.
So him and I have been talking. Yeah, shout out to Doug. I think he might be watching this too, because I sent him a link. But, we were talking about it, when we had signed Russ. And he goes, I'm not saying he's going to have a Sam Darnold season, but it might be close. He said, and I'm going to tell you why. He said, the biggest thing for me is that he's going to have a coach that believes in him. He said, I like Mike Tomlin. He's like, but I don't trust Arthur Smith. He's like, I don't think most people trust Arthur Smith. He's like, I have full confidence that Brian Dable will not only be able to effectively get a lot of solid production out of Russ, but in turn, that's going to help this offense. Something that he had mentioned to me, which I really thought it was true. You guys might disagree with me. People in the chat might disagree with me. 4 things that Russell Wilson brings to this Giants team that we have not had since Eli Manning is leadership, morale, professionalism, and stability. Those are all things that Daniel Jones had, maybe a couple of those things, but not all of them. Because he didn't provide, stability. There were years where he was injured or he missed an extended time. He was professional, but the morale around the team really wasn't that good. I've never seen a player divide a fan base so much. But talking about Russ, I do think that this is the best receiver that he has dealt with. The first one that kind of comes to my head is Doug Baldwin, but that's just because I love Doug Baldwin. But I would put Malik Neighbors in the
better than Baldwin
on over Doug Baldwin. And I love George Pickens, but I think Malik Neighbors is a lot better than George Pickens. I think he's better than Cortland Sutton. And again, I think being in a situation where this is somewhere that for years, there's always been little rumors here and there of, the Giants are a destination Russ may want to go to. Sierra, she has a music career, which a lot of people know of and, follow. That would work wonders in New York. Obviously, it didn't happen. He gets traded to Denver, and then he goes to the Steelers last year. And I just don't like this whole to me, it feels like almost a narrative that people treat Russ like he's a Joe Flacco, like he's a who else?
Like a journeyman.
Yeah, like he's this journeyman, and I get it. He's old. He's older. But you look at how he's played since he's left Seattle, and I don't understand why fans kill Russ. I mean, we have not, statistically speaking, seen those numbers from a quarterback since Eli Manning here, which doesn't say a lot, but I think inserting Russ into this offense where you have a Malik Neighbors, you have a guy in Darius Slayton who you could throw the moon ball to, you have someone like Wandale who can pick up the short yardage, and if you can throw him in stride, can be a yak king, in my opinion. I think this is a good situation for Russ. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I think this is a great situation for Russ. If it's for 1 year, this is going to be a very good situation for him. Obviously, things could come off the wheel. We're Giants fans. We know, we might feel optimistic, and then come week 1, it's like, this again. But I think with the addition of Micah leaving, plus I don't trust the Commanders' defense that much, and I do think the Chiefs can be had, the Giants are going to be put up to a test, and I think they will do fine on that test. I would not be shocked if by, going into, I think it's the Saints after the Chargers, where if this team is 3-1 or at worst 2-2, that would not shock me whatsoever. But Russ is a difference maker, at least in my opinion, in this.
No, I appreciate the take, because I will remind everyone once again that, and we've talked about this earlier in the offseason, but just as a reminder, is when Russ got to Pittsburgh, he was going out to dinner on a weekly basis with the offensive coordinator. Their wives got along. Everything was great. Tomlin took away the ability for Russ to audible at the line of scrimmage. He likes to run the rock, and he didn't want Russ, audible in and out to a pass. He did it enough times where they took that away from Russ. That soured the entire relationship, went right downhill, and he was out. Because the way it started is very different how it ended. Okay, like they were almost waiting for Fields to just not have a good game. They wanted to get Russ in there. Russ was a winner. The offensive coordinator believed in Russ. The only thing is that Tomlin is Tomlin, right? He wants to control his team. He wants it to be executed his way. He doesn't want the team to be the quarterback's team. It's Tomlin's team, and it has been for, 18 years, right? So, and again, I'm not killing Tomlin. Smart man, does it really well. But in Russ's scenario, if they just let him do what Russ does, he might still be there. So with that said, now that we have Russ here, he's really going to give us a good chance. And again, if you guys aren't Russ fans, that's cool. But let's look at, 2020. He threw for 40 touchdowns 5 years ago, okay, and 4,200 yards. Yep. Then he threw for 25 and 3,100. 16 and 3,500 in a half a year. Remember, he did break his finger that year. Then he had 3,026, and then last year in a half year, 25 and 16. Like, he still has the ability to get it done, and it's perfect for Dart to learn from, as much as it is Winston, because Winston keeps everything chill, right? Keeps everything chill, and you can already notice, like, man, this cat's going to have a broadcast career because he's great on camera. He's a lot of fun in the locker room. So, and again, he could probably still play and start somewhere in the NFL. But if he doesn't, you could still see that could be a really great quarterback coach. He's definitely a good mentor for Dart. Hey, Mark Thompson, sorry I missed you, buddy. Good to see you. And I think Colt said something here. You knew once Dart played well in the preseason, the fools were going to start pushing Dart to start. 100%.
Yeah.
I am the first one. Sean, what did I say before they were even thinking about drafting him, and I liked him? What did I say about him?
He had the things he had to work on, his footwork, other things, and he was going to take time to develop, and we shouldn't start him right away, basically.
I said it in January. I said it in February. I said it in March. We're a fan. I've literally watched this guy for 3 years in college. He's super fun to watch, right? But we have Russ. He doesn't need to start. It won't kill us to let him actually spend some time with Russ. Sean, Daniels is an electric player. I don't know if he can repeat it, right? There's a lot of tape out there on him right now.
Yep.
So my question, and hey, McLaurin is now paid and happy, right?
Yep.
So we've got that going. You got the debut of Debo, which we know, depending on what Debo shows up, right? He could be a housebreaker too. Can Russ again, old school, new school, or it's the student, the pupil kind of a thing. Can Russ match the energy that Daniels is going to put out on Sunday?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah. He's again, it's what we got a young offensive unit that needs that leadership, was looking for that. Malik Neighbors said it's what he wanted. He wanted a vet quarterback and a rookie quarterback. So he's happy. Other guys are happy. So yeah. And Russ is, again, I said it earlier, Russ is energized. You can see he's energized. Russ wants to be here. The Giants want him here. Everybody's happy he's here. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. All he needs to do is play better than what we've had the last 6 years in our quarterback room with all the quarterbacks, and we'll be good. We'll be good. And I think keep him on the field, give the defense time to rest, and just don't make mistakes. That's what I want to see. Take the deep shots, which we know he's going to take, hit the open receivers, allow our athletic receivers to do what they need to do. He's going to hit them in time. And again, the thing that I've seen all preseason from Russ that we haven't seen in years, he's throwing the ball before the receivers even make their break. And that is going to be huge for our guys. So yeah, I'm not worried. The energy will be there without a doubt.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Joker. I mean, I think this is perfectly said here. Mark Thompson's comment, where he says Russ's experiences and accomplishments is ripe for young, experienced Giants team looking for leadership, direction, including the general manager and head coach. I do think that this team is behind Russ. I do think that this team has bought in, not just to Russ, but into Brian Dable as well. And I mean, naturally, when you have the season that the Giants just had, it's easy to, say, "Oh, this team's going to be trash. This team's going to be horrible." Especially when you look at the record. When you look at the schedule on paper. But this is a team. Let's not forget that this is a team that the Giants have owned for a majority of their franchise history. Same with the Washington team. So it's like, for me, as great as Jada Daniels is, you have a Terry McLaurin who really hasn't played much. He's going to need to be caught back up to speed and get back into football shape. I don't trust their defense whatsoever. And like you just said, Joker, I mean, with how low the bar has been at the quarterback position, Russ really doesn't have to do much for it to be an improvement over what we have had.
Right.
Which it's horrible. I'm not gonna say horrible. It's sad to say.
That's a good segue though, because it's a great segue to off-season camp and preseason, Chris. What's your overall, I don't know, let's say grade? I'm not really big into grades, but off-season camp and preseason to me definitely has progressed, right? Where it was, hey, we're coming into this new season. We need a lot. We got a lot, right? The off season looked like, again, we were really worried that, like, man, can they actually, because last year's draft was very good and they all started, but we still won 3 games. We needed more. So my question to you is, if you have to look at the off season into, draft, preseason, camp, what's your overall grade on what Shane and Dable and Brown and, the whole front office have done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar to you, Rush. I know the chat echo isn't going to like to hear that. I'm agreeing with you. I don't like to give grades. I don't like to give grades. But if I had to give a grade, genuinely speaking, I would give them a B plus. I thought they addressed a lot of needs. They upgraded at a lot of positions. They made this team better than what it has been. And I think we are starting to see the identity of what Joe Shane and Brian Dable and the rest of this front office want this Giants team to look like. Now it's not done. They still need to add some more pieces. I still hold, in high regard the fact that they did not really address the wide receiver position much at all, in my opinion. I know they bring in Jordan Humphrey, you re-signed Slayton, but it would have been nice to bring in some proven talent onto this team and talent that we can actually say, okay, as a wide receiver 4, we feel fairly confident that he can maybe even be a wide receiver 3. Hyatt's closer to out the door than he is being a wide receiver 4. Wandale, we're hoping.
This is what I say to Hyatt. Ready?
Yeah, I mean, essentially. So it's like, for that reason alone, I'm going to give them a B plus. Had they done a little bit more, I would have given them an A, just because I think they knocked it out with the draft. I thought free agency. I love the Javon Holland move. At the time, I liked the James Hudson signing, not so much anymore. But I would give them a B plus. I think that's fair.
Go ahead, Sean. Give it to me. Give me your overall thoughts on what they did, because it's definitely the first year where the plan actually looks like it came into place, right? Somebody didn't get hurt in camp. Someone didn't hold out. Someone did. All sorts of mayhem always happens to the Giants, where those good plans kind of get, kind of implode. What's your overall thought here? Again, we're not really, this podcast does not usually do a lot of grades, but in this case, it's not bad to give one. What's your thought?
Yeah, so I would give an A minus to that, and for a number of reasons. You massive upgrade in the quarterback room. You upgraded the secondary, adding a Debo and Javon Holland. You the draft. You added some psychos, which I like. So you added some personality for the future of this team. Guys that can come in, make an impact right away. The O-line depth is better than it's been in the last couple of years. So while James Hudson has not shown what we wanted, he's still in a competition, right? So that's what's good. You have guys that are in competition with guys that were put on the practice squad that maybe a year or two ago for O-line would have been starting or the backup. So that's what I like to see. I mean, yes, the wide receiver room is a little bit concerned. So adding somebody else, that's why I'm giving it the A- to they add another receiver. But I just think why I'm an A- aside from those things I mentioned is the overall energy of the team is just different. So you brought in guys that are leadership. You brought in guys that were teammates in college. I think there's 5 sets now on the team that were teammates in college, with just adding Bo Braid from the Ravens. Him and Banks played together in college. You got Tibbs and Holland. You got Adebo and Akarake. And there's a couple others I can't think right now. So just that camaraderie that this team has, the energy, like they had that pick 6 in a preseason game. The whole team was out there celebrating it. When's the last time you've seen a defense do that for the Giants? It just, the overall energy and the type of players that you brought in, I like what they did. So that's why I'm giving it an A-.
Can't argue that. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm not much of a grader, but I can't say either one of you are wrong, because it's been the most excited I've been in a while, about a handful of things. So I could definitely see the B+ to the A-. So I guess the takeaway is that the team is so much more improved than I ever thought it could actually be in 1 year. That was the big leap for me. Like, man, if you win 7 games, I'm happy. Can you make the damn team better? They made the team better at multi-positions, right? Yeah, we might be able to nitpick a little bit on the offensive line, but it's way better than it's been. And we could probably nitpick a little bit on the wide receivers, but we're okay because the quarterbacks and the running backs are making up for that, right? And the tight ends. Yeah, and the tight ends. Now, Sean knows I'm a big tight end guy. I'm hoping that, look, Dolich can't block. He got moved because he can't block. They want all their tight ends to be able to catch and block. That's just what they want. So you can cry, complain, whatever. Yes, Dolich looked good, but he already got cut by Denver too because he can't block. And
he can't stay healthy. Every year he's injured.
Yeah. And again, we agree to disagree on this. I thought Manhertz is an average pass catcher, but a phenomenal blocker. So he stays, and Sean had mentioned that he made a bet with Mark Thompson that Manhertz was going to, and I think he's getting like a free stay in Barbados for it. I think the bet was, and and Sean won because I thought Manhertz would go. But the moral of the story is we're hoping that Russ, who's had some decent tight ends over the years, can use Bellinger and Theo and Manhertz to a degree. So if the wide receivers don't, step outside themselves and become all world, I mean, Neighbors is all world, but the other guys can't pick up the slack. We're hoping that they can start utilizing and putting back in those seam routes, those speed outs, those flood passes to the tight end, because we haven't had a tight end, have 700 yards in since Stinking Chalky. You know what I mean? Or it probably wasn't. Probably Martellus Bennett.
Greens,
probably had it. Yeah. All right, I got to sidetrack here for a second, guys, because I have to. I promised. Let me look back for it. It was. I think it was. Was it Gridiron? Okay, so Gridiron. I'm going to address this for you, and I hope you're listening. I hope you're still there to listen. Okay, nervous about a run defense. McFadden does well on perimeter runs, but has issues shedding blocks directly at him. I expect Washington to run right at the Giants' thoughts. All right, handful of things here to consider. Talk about the defense from this year, last year to this year. So last year, you start the season off with Dexter Lawrence leading the league in sacks from the defensive tackle position. He's getting doubled and tripled, right? He's getting chipped by a back, right? And then he goes down, okay? Okereke is playing with a herniated disc in his back, so he's not the same linebacker that he normally is, right? So McFadden and Okereke didn't really have anything in front of them. They're never clean, right? They're constantly scraping through a ton of traffic making plays. Now, if you want to tell me that Okereke and McFadden both have a little bit of an issue with trying to blow up a block instead of shedding the block, I'll agree with that. Sean will definitely agree with that, because they the style of play, it's definitely it's not just a Giants thing, by the way. Okay. It's a young NFL linebacker thing right now, is that these middle linebackers are shooting the A gap, the B gap, and they're blowing up a block, hoping for someone else to come and clean it up. But in the NFL, it's really hard to do. But my premise, Gridiron, what I would tell you is I wouldn't be nervous. Why? Is because you now have a better defensive line. Alexander's going to be coming along, right? They brought in Golston, right? You got healthy Dexter. Okereke is healthy. McFadden is healthy. In fact, Sean and I both agree that when Okereke went down and McFadden moved over to his spot, he actually played better in that spot. So the takeaway here is that McFadden is the first player in 18 years to have back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. That's saying a lot, okay? Okereke is the captain, and he deservedly is the focal part of that, that defense, and he's the captain, him and Dexter, right? You got to keep your linebackers clean. And what the defensive line the Giants have had, which has been dirt, okay? You can't expect great games out of your middle linebackers if there's guys at their feet and they can't scrape and they can't get through. Do they make mistakes? Hands down. I'll tell you flat out, Micah McFadden's a friend of the show. You guys have all know we've interviewed him 3 or 4 times, right? His boys, Belton, we've had them on there. They're all saying the same thing. Hey, Wink's defense had its moment and its things that worked. And in fact, I'll play it for you guys. And then he talked about Shane's defense. So this is like year 2 in Bowen's defense. So look, I'm going to play this just for you guys because, you guys are the
appropriate.
best.
Makes sense with the run defense.
All right. Check this out. Here's the McFadden interview that we did a couple months ago. And we asked him about, let me get that off the screen first. We asked him about what the difference was between the two defenses, Wink and Bowen. And Sean, who hates Bowen the most here?
That would be you. Yeah.
I was going to say, got you.
Definitely you. Definitely you.
Like that dude just boils my blood in every way. But I'm trying to.
We had the 32nd ranked offense, and we're talking about defense.
Yeah. But I'm a defensive guy, right? I'm a defensive guy by heart, all right? But here's the McFadden interview where we asked about Wink and Bowen, and they want to give this defense, enough time to gel. So here's McFadden. What we're all wondering. How does it feel year to year going from Wink's defense to Bowen's defense? What's the major difference? I'm sure, and you don't have to say anything. We're not looking to put you in that spot, but there's got to be a difference between those two systems. And how does it feel going into year 2 with the system? Because I'm sure it's better now you got a year under your belt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Whenever you go, the first year in any scheme is, I don't want to say difficult because you have the offseason, you have training camp to get used to it, understand, to get the basics down, but there's still a little bit of training wheels on it, and everybody's kind of figuring it out as they go. Usually the first 4 or 5 games of the season in a new scheme is kind of seeing how the other teams are playing against it and what you're getting from an offense and what's hurting us. But yeah, year 2, usually that's the settling point. That's when everybody feels really comfortable. There's already an understanding going into the offseason, with what we've done in the past year. There's a lot of film to go off of, a lot of correction to make from the year before. Maybe some things, the coaches want to adjust heading into year 2. So it's always helpful to have that first year under the belt. But yeah, Wink, I think it's pretty obvious. He was really aggressive. He had that, there was the scheme was, I came in as a rookie, so it was difficult for me to learn. I think, people who had seen quite a number of defenses in the NFL were able to get a hold of it pretty quick. But, I honestly, I like both of them. But yeah, Wink was really aggressive. It really didn't matter the time or place, but he was trying to put pressure on the quarterback. I'd say Bowen, he still has that in the bag, and there's going to be specific times where he wants to pressure and bring the house or whatnot, but it's a little bit more flow to it and a little bit more coverage, and especially for linebackers. But I really enjoy both schemes, and I enjoy playing in both of them.
There you go. Right. So we got to give Bowen a good, a chance. But just kind of painting the picture for you guys that, I wouldn't really be worried too much about the run defense because the defensive line is better. Your linebackers are going to be cleaner. You also got a stud safety now that, can, Newbin's healthy. Newbin's going to come in and whack some dudes, right? And then you got Holland that's going to ball hawk it. We should be seeing a different defense. And let's not even discount the fact that the pass rush could potentially add another 9-10 sacks on to what they did last year. So I wouldn't go into the season being worried about the run defense until you have to, right? Like right now, you got to think that the edge is better. The front is better. The linebackers will be clean, right? I mean, I can't stress to you, any more than if you're not clean. Yeah, good. Jump in.
We have better depth at the D line now too. And one name that wasn't even mentioned, I'll give Mark Thompson credit for this, Roy Robertson Harris. He's had a great preseason. He's really looked good in games and also in the joint practices. So that's a name. Don't be surprised if he's going to be, the Leonard Williams to Dexter Lawrence this year. So watch out for that guy. But you have the depth on the D line now. Guys aren't going to be tired. And again, if the offense is staying on the field, sustaining drives, the defense isn't going to be as tired. So that's going to help the run game.
All right. We're running a little bit long, but I just wanted to make sure I address that. Don't be worried until you have to be worried. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but it should be better. Let's segue to, if I can find my Andrew Thomas. Are you worried yet? Because I got to tell you, Chris, I said it 4 weeks ago. If this cat can't play, we need to draft a tackle in the first round. We do have now, of course, Bo. All right. So Bo playing left, Bo playing right. He looks great. He's got a little bit of nasty to him. He's definitely fluid. Because, this cat who's I am a huge fan of just can't stay on the field. Are you worried?
Yes and no. I think I'm more worried with his comments recently, stating that, I'm not going to put myself out there if I don't feel like I'm ready to go. And then, you hear the front office as well as coaching kind of hinting at, he should be ready to go week 1. So I'm not too sure where I lean in regards to what Thomas is saying or what this front office is saying. Personally, though, I am a little bit I'm a little concerned, because it's the most important position on our offensive line. Andrew Thomas, when he's healthy, is a very good player. And that's been the biggest issue, is him staying healthy. For me personally, I think with Thomas's injury history, it's kind of played into me feeling a kind of way about extending Jermaine Illuminor. Just because you did select Bo, you hope that he can be good, but you have a guy currently in Jermaine Illuminor who has shown you both on the right and on the left he can get it done. It's not going to be Andrew Thomas level, but he can get it done. And I'm concerned whether or not he can, start week 1 on a healthy note. I will say this much though, Craig. I think that if the Giants are in a situation where Thomas doesn't feel like he's ready to go, I wouldn't be shocked if they don't play him until that Kansas City Chiefs game, where, again, Micah is not in the division anymore, so that's one big headache we don't have to worry about anymore. The lack of talent on that Commanders defensive line, and plus the age of that defense too, they might say to themselves, we could probably get by with the guys that we have for the first 2 weeks, giving Andrew Thomas some more time, not rushing him in. But even still, I mean, it's hard for me to confidently say, no, I'm not worried, because I am worried.
I appreciate that, because a lot of people are saying, I'm not worried. And I'm like, look, man, this team literally goes down the tubes when that guy goes out. So, and you're spot on with Illuminor. Sean, give me a take. Yeah. We're running a little long, so I wanted to make sure I got to this topic because it is important, because there are folks out there like, it doesn't matter. We're not going to be able to run the ball if he's not there. That could be true. But the biggest issue is, let's bring him back when he's healthy. I'm cool with it. I will say I'm with Chris. I don't love the tone. I don't love I'm not going to, I'm ready. It's like, I mean, dude, you've literally missed 2 years of football. I don't know what else to do here.
Damn there at this point.
Yeah, I'm not worried until it's time to worry. The tone doesn't even bother me. It's saying the right thing. There's no reason to rush back, right? You've missed time. You had this. I mean, that surgery was to remove a screw. I mean, that's pretty commonplace. It's not like he had a new injury or anything like that. So there's probably a little gamesmanship going on right now as well. Well, we know Daboll does that, and I got no problem with that either. Now, if he's missing multiple games, okay, fine. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned. I don't mind what he said. I think it's the right thing to say. Like, I'm not going to rush myself back because he wants to be there for the season, the majority of the games. If he rushes himself back, it's a problem. But I think the tone from both sides, I think it got blown out of proportion. So no, I'm not worried. I'll worry when it's time to worry. That's how I do it. That's what I do.
I wish I was like you, Sean. I really, because that's such a good way to look at it, where it's like, I'm not going to worry until I worry. I mean, I'm not going to worry until I have to. And I'm trying to keep that mindset. But I think of this offense without Andrew Thomas, and I'm like, with the schedule we have, we cannot risk Andrew Thomas being.
Well, you know why I'm not worried about that now? Because number one, Marcus Bowe is there. We know Jermaine and Luminar come over, and we have Carm Brasillo, and we have a better O-line. I realize that O-line, it gets blown out of proportion. That O-line last year did not go down the dumps when Thomas went out. There was only 2 weeks when they threw Azudu out there, and I forget the other guy's name. They threw out left tackle, but after that, they were fine. In fact, week 17, they were ranked number 5 in the league for just that week. So with Carm Brasillo doing things and the depth we have, I'm not as worried. Do I want to miss an Andrew Thomas? Do I want to miss in games? No, of course not. But this line is not going to be it's not going to go down the tubes like it did 2 years ago when he was out after the Dallas game. So no, I'm not worried yet. I'm not worried at all.
You know what? Sometimes Joker's actually got some rational thoughts in that crazy head I appreciate it because I want to be like, we need this guy, get going, suck it up, get your ass out here and play. But I'd rather have him healthy. If he needs another week, he needs another week, right? And the Bowe thing is very encouraging. All right, so we're running a little bit long, so I got to ask you. We're gonna do King's Court Joker Justice. I'm going to save that for after next week. So we'll actually have some real content to talk about after the game. And we have to decide if we're going to do a Monday show or a Tuesday show, but I think we're going to do a Monday show. Sean, are we doing a Monday show? Are you back or are you not back?
I'm not back on Monday because I get back late. I get back late Monday. So, all
right, I'm going to try to coerce Spartan, Mike, and Alex out here. Give me a thumbs up give me a thumbs up. How did Chris do? Give him a thumbs up because we want to bring Chris back, so don't say anything mean.
Say how you feel. Say how you feel.
Keep it real.
All right, so Chris, give me one thing that one thing that you're looking forward to in this game, because I'm going to tell you what mine is. I want to see, because they brought in Larry Tunsil in the offseason, and again, guy's a stud. There is no doubt about he's a stud. I want to see Carter make Tunsil look like he needs to go to retirement. That's my we've been waiting for a pass rusher since Tuck, you know what I mean? And Carter's even probably has just a little bit different skill set than Tuck did, right? They're definitely different players. So I'm excited to see Tunsil and Carter. I'm excited to see a Debo and Holland. Tossing it to you, what are you excited to see this week?
So you took out Bill Carter right out my mouth. That was someone I was going to go to, but I'm going to go to the other side of the ball. Malik Neighbors. How is Malik Neighbors going to look with Russell Wilson throwing him the ball? I like some of the additions the Commanders have made within the last 2 years in their secondary, but it's very young. It leaves a lot to be desired. And Malik had himself a game, the 2 times that we played the Commanders last year. And that's what Daniel Jones throwing the ball. So I'm very much looking forward to Malik. I think he's going to have a huge year for the Giants. So he's for me.
How many yards? Give it to me.
So I said prior to the preseason, I thought he could get anywhere between 1,400 to 1,500.
Woo!
After the preseason, I'm gonna be so honest with you, seeing Russ. Maybe it's just Russ throwing that deep ball to Bo Collins. Give me 16 to 17.
Oh,
I like it.
Dang. You know what? We're going to invite Chris back just for that hot take right there.
Right? There you go.
What do you got, Sean? What are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, you guys already took the ones. You guys took the one. So I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'm gonna go Brian Burns because he came in motivated. He's come in with, I mean, I think he's gonna eat on Sunday. I really do. He's not just physically motivated out there, you see it, but the way he's conducting himself, he's like a true leader out there. And yeah. So, and I see Mark's comment there. Yeah, the majority of the snaps he played at left tackle in the preseason. I know there's some things put out there by some other people that said he didn't look comfortable. I didn't see it, especially while he's playing there. So I think he'll be fine there. But yeah, no, Brian Burns is the guy that I'm looking for.
Scott, don't worry, Scott. Don't worry, Scott. He said you always worry. I always worry too. All you got to keep in mind is this. They won 3 games last year. If they win, and they've got the hardest strength of schedule in the NFL, our expectations should be tempered, right? Optimistic, which is fun. But if this team wins 7 games, you can't be hating it. You can't be hating. You can worry, but you can't be hating because they're on to something here, right? They're on to something. This is on paper, it's the best.
I don't want 7 games. I don't want 7 wins, though. I'm not going to be happy with 7 wins.
I didn't say I didn't say I'd be happy. I didn't say I'd be happy. I just said that if they win 7 games, you can realistically understand with strength of schedule that is a reality. It could be possible. Can this team win 9 games? Man, if everything goes right, which again in the NFL, nothing always goes right. But this team can win 7, 8, 9 games. Definitely if things are falling into place. If Kafka's doing his job and Dable's doing his job, and there's a lot of things that got to fall into place. But again, they're in the right place. Lastly, I'll leave you guys with this. I'm actually also excited to see Tracy run behind a better line. Yeah, I thought he got discounted a lot last year as the wide receivers playing running back. All these things. We don't really have Scadaboo and Tracy are going to be an exciting pair. They're going to be an exciting pair. So there are things to look forward to, right? All the things the guys said here, and then, just sit back, let it happen, look for some positive things. And in this Washington game is winnable. I think the biggest thing comes all the way back to Mark Thompson is, can we match their speed? Okay. That'll be something that will hurt us in the long run, right? Debo will have to come into play. I think, Mark, to answer your question, can we match their speed? I don't know if we can match their speed, but I want you to realize that Holland is going to make a huge difference back there. So I think Holland, who can fly, will help dramatically because Pinnock just really couldn't pivot and change.
So will Carter if he spies Jane Daniels. Absolutely, they can match their speed.
Yep. All right, wrapping this up. Every Monday we're here 7:30. We're gonna get after it next week after the game. Chris in his debut, bang. Chris. We'd love to have you back. You did awesome. And we, hey, look, the easiest way is the good way. It's the Rush way. Be here Monday. Go have fun. Enjoy the game. Have a couple beers. Relax. Have some. If anything, Daniel Jones isn't your quarterback anymore. So you don't have to be banging your head against the wall that it's the same thing every time.
Yep.
That alone, should have you drink a beer.
Seriously,
right? So.
You guys have a lot. You guys have a lot to be excited about. You really do. We'll see you guys next Monday.